Okay, so this song's called Right Here, and actually, in the last year I've been communicating with Greg Hudnall of Hope for Utah. I asked him one time, I was like, what would you say to someone who's literally on the edge of almost going to take their lives? Like, what would you say? You know, what's the best thing you could say? And he told me, he wrote back in an email, it said one line, he says, I don't know what you're feeling, I don't know what pain you're going through or what you're feeling, but I'm right here for you. And I was like, oh, that's my hook. That's my song. and I just say it because, like, I've always wondered, I've lost several people, a lot of friends and family to suicide, unfortunately. One especially lately, about 4 years ago, is one I lived with for 2 years, and he took his life after I moved out, about a month after I moved out from him. And I always ask the question, like, what, you know, you always ask what more could you do to help someone that you care about. And so I wrote this song in dedication to him. It's just a saying, you know, this is what I'd love to say to you if you were right here in front of me again, and hopefully to help anyone else. This song, the chorus, can be something that they can, a parent or a friend or whoever can hopefully learn this. Just they can know what to say by hearing this song. So that's my intention with it. Okay. We good? They say it's like drowning in the ocean, and you reach out for some help but no one's there. You're lost at sea, where could you be? And I don't know how we even got here. I don't know what you're going through, but I am right here. And I don't know the pain you feel, but I am right here. Whoa, whoa. We've all felt shattered and broken, a million pieces on the floor. We win and we lose, and we're all bruised. Will we make it back to shore? I don't know what you're going through, but I am right here. I don't know the pain you feel, but I am right here. Whoa, just when you are feeling alone, I'll be the light to bring you home. The oceans will rise and the thunder will roar. I'll fly with you above the storm. I don't know what you're going through, but I am right here. I don't know the pain you feel, but I am right here.
So my name is Dr. Greg Hudnall, and I'm the Executive Director of Hope for Utah, which is a nonprofit organization established to prevent youth suicide. Program started about 14 years ago when I was principal of a high school in Provo, and I had been contacted by the Provo Police Department to come down and identify the body of a young man who had taken his life in the park next to my school. After that experience, it was so traumatizing that, and it was a good young man who came from a great family, that I made a vow that I would do everything I could on the side just to prevent suicide. So I've been doing it for, actually there's a whole task force of us that have been doing it over the last 14 years. And then about a year ago, we decided to, because we were getting so many requests from throughout the state. State of Utah is #9 in the nation for suicide for ages 10 to 17. And so a lot of other school districts, a lot of other communities started to ask, because we were starting to have success in Provo. Our program is called Circles for Hope, and the Circles for Hope is basically bringing mental health, community, and schools together. In fact, I'm quite excited about the success that we're having, because when we first started, mental health agencies weren't even allowed in schools. They weren't even part of it. And now, because of our partnership with Wasatch Mental Health, they're in 63 schools in Utah County. So we're really breaking down that barrier, because kids don't want to die. They want the pain to go away, but they don't know how to make it go away. And having that expert, that mental health expert, can really give them the resources they need. When we were putting our community program together, our goal was to train every adult, and we were having success with it. As we built that program, we started to have a lot of success, but the one piece that we were missing was the peer-to-peer, because 7 out of 10 kids who take their life by suicide will tell a friend, will give a warning sign, give away a prized possession, and those friends will never tell an adult. So we wanted to break that silence. So we actually went to Timpview High School, one of our larger high schools in Provo, asked every student in the school, if you were struggling emotionally, needed someone to talk to, list 3 of your friends. And the most amazing thing happened. The same 40 names rose to the top. That became our Hope Squad. And so we started training them on how to listen to their friends, how to provide that support, and then how to get them to go to an adult. When we first started, we were averaging 1 to 2 suicides a year. When we put our program together and finally built it out, we hadn't had a suicide in 9 years. So we really found some success with it.
Arise originally started as I had this huge vision for Arise to be this massive organization that had like peer groups and parent groups and all this stuff, and I realized that it'd take millions of dollars of funding, so I had to go with what I had access to. And that's actually how I met Greg with Hope for Utah, because I was researching out peer groups, and that's when I found Hope Squads, which is awesome. But so I saw all the resources that Utah had, which is a lot actually, and I said, what can I do with what I have to help get people to where they need to go for help? And so I wanted to use music as a resource to reach people, because to me, music has ability to reach someone's soul that just talking sometimes can't. So we put together a group of people. I had 4 artists, and we put together an album this last year. I've been working on it hard. There's 3 songs each. There's hip hop, pop, rock, and country. I'm the rock artist and the producer for the album, along with another guy named Randy Slaw. And so we're using the music as a medium to help bring awareness around depression and suicide and bullying and all that stuff, to help bring people resources to where they need to go, whether it's Hope for Utah or the Uni or NAMI or AFSP or all of the resources that are here in Utah. So that's kind of where we're at right now, is just using music and media to reach people about it. Our message is not to focus on the darkness, but to say we get the darkness, but there's a way out of it, you know. And that's why it's called Arise, is because we want to get out of whatever it is that's holding someone down. And we are giving all the proceeds from this Arise album to Hope for Utah and charities like them. Like the bulk of it's going to go to them, because they are the reason why we picked them is because they're the front line of this war against mental health and everything else. You know, they're the ones down in the nitty gritty trying to help people, and we want to help support that cause. You know, because I'm not a counselor. I don't know how to effectively work with someone through mental health stuff, but I do want to have Arise be the connection between, because I've had, since I've started this, I can't tell you how many parents I've had come to me and say, what do I do? Like, my son's depressed or whatever else, where do I go? And no one has any idea. And so I was like, I need to make sure we are a voice to say, we understand, there's hope, let's connect you with someone who can help you.
What the mental health experts teach us is that it's as simple as asking that individual, have you thought about hurting yourself? Have you thought about killing yourself? Have you thought about suicide? We're so afraid to talk about it. The principal of Pleasant Grove, Tim Brantley, probably said it best. They had some suicides, and then they put a Hope Squad together, and they're having amazing success with it. And he said, what the Hope Squad did is it changed the culture of my school. It gave us permission to start talking about it. And he shares that for the first time in his 15 years as a principal, he has parents coming into his office, shutting the door and saying, I'm worried about my daughter. I'm worried about my son. He said that's never ever happened before. So we actually go in and we train all of the staff members. We train all of the adults in the school. We help them understand the role of the Hope Squad. And then the Hope Squad students are supported by those adults, by that staff, so that when they recognize that sign and they talk to that student and they help them take them to an adult, that school counselor, advisor, principal, they know what to do then to take over to help.
If you have a hunch that your friend is suffering in some way, it's always better to come out and talk about it and at least say, hey, I'm concerned about you, I'm worried about you, okay? And Greg does a lot of good training on what to say. But the biggest thing is you're not going to segregate them. You're not going to hurt them. I would personally rather have my friend still be alive and not talk to me very much and be mad at me as opposed to being dead and never talking to me again. You know what I mean? So the biggest thing as far as someone who has a friend is to say something, is to talk to someone. You're not being a snitch by talking to someone and making sure they're okay, you know, because I would have wanted that. As far as the person who's actually suffering, I can just say, I hope that they know that they're not a burden, that there's nothing wrong with them. They're just experiencing some things that they need help. And I would hope they'd look at it as kind of like I said before, like cancer, that it may be nutrition, it may be hormones, it may be they didn't get the right job or the right team, or I mean, there's always disappointment. We have such high standards, is to be patient with those things and to find something to be successful with in small ways so you don't have these huge expectations that you fail at. Because I've been there, I fail all the time. And sometimes when you fail, it's hard to want to get back up there and just say, I'm just going to fail again. Or, I mean, there's so many reasons why someone would be suicidal or to be depressed, and I don't know them all. All I know is that if you're willing to talk to someone, find that one person that you're willing to talk to, whether it's a peer or a parent or a counselor, teacher, somebody, and just be open about it, you know, because I know for a fact that if my buddy came to me and said, hey, I'm thinking about killing myself, I'd want to be like, dude, you need to know how much you mean to me and how much I want you here. They shouldn't be afraid of having that conversation, of saying that they're suffering. Because people out there care and they want to know and they want to help. Even though in that state of mind they're thinking that no one cares, I promise that they do and they want to know. So, yeah. Your eyes rise. Here are hands, they reach for stars. We pull them down to heal our scars. Here are eyes, they start for light, waiting for in the night. Always wondering who we are and where we came from. Here is our cry. We are the ones who will survive. We wear the crowns from eye. We are the ones who made us shine. We are the ones who will. Your eyes, like a rose, breaks through the ground. Our chains fall without a sound. See your light pierce through the ground, breaking through the fear and doubt. Always wondering who we are and where we came from. Here is our cry. We are the ones who will survive. We wear the crowns from our eyes. We are the ones who made us the call. Lift up your arms, let's save us all. We're born for more, we hear the call. Lift up your arms, let's save us all. We are the ones who will survive. We wear the crowns from on high. We are the ones who men shine. We are the ones who will arise. Arise, arise. Ooh.